We didn't have any agenda items that were still pressing that we needed to meet, so we canceled the May meeting, and we are scheduled to meet Tuesday, June 16th.
Okay.
6:30.
Perfect. Governance Committee.
We're scheduled to meet on June 2nd at 6:30.
Okay. So in Human Services was supposed to meet tonight, but
We're in the process of rescheduling that.
and I think we'll need to wait probably till the end of next month and revisit whether we should.
The end of next month?
Yeah. End of June. Okay. Public Safety Committee.
Next meeting is June 9th.
June 9th. Okay. Public Works.
When we get the next meeting?
Next meeting,
July the 3rd.
June 3rd, so be it. Technology. Yay. 28. Park Board, any report from the Park Board? Okay. Planning Commission, we just heard from Pierce County Regional Council.
Nothing to report, but the next meeting is June 4th.
June 4th. Okay, and Sound Cities Association met a couple of weeks ago. The highlights of the meeting were they went over the strategic plan again regarding Committee to End Homelessness. It's going to be back in front of the PIC on June 10th. And so some of the things that were brought up and highlighted, concerns from other cities, is they wanted to review and approve the governance structure of the Committee to End Homelessness, and another thing was they wanted a regional collaboration and not a problem to be pushing from one jurisdiction to another, so which is a pretty good point. And SBA staff was making it very clear that or we're hoping that member cities would oppose language that mischaracterizes city policies as criminalizing homelessness. So that was some of the highlights of the conversation on that. The next conversation was on Best Start for Kids levy that Executive Constantine has proposed that's going to be on the November ballot. And some of the things that they had talked about, the proposals in the levy is 50% of the revenue generated by the levy would be invested in strategies that focus on children ages 5 and under and on pregnant women. This would include funding for public health centers. 35% of the levy would be invested in strategies focused on youth ages 5 through 24. 9% of the levy would be invested in expanding the communities of opportunity partnerships between King County and Seattle Foundation. 6% of the levy would be devoted to evaluation, data collection, and improving the delivery services for programs for children, youth, and the community. So that was some of the highlights regarding that. There was a big, long discussion on how the various cities felt about it, and they were pretty much in unison in support of the levy moving forward. So if there's any comments that any council members have or want me to take back, I have the notes from the meeting and kind of more detailed synopsis of what the levy is about. If you'd like me to take back, I'd be happy to do that. Also talked about Service Guidelines Task Force, basically regarding the Metro service that's going on with the Metro cuts, and we're going to still be stuck with the limited service that we have, but it's not going away. That's the good news. And then there was some legislative updates, stuff that's going on down in Olympia regarding some legislation that they were supporting. The transportation, of course, the transportation package was a big part of the conversation that took place. And then there was a critical policy bill yet to be resolved, is sharing the marijuana excise tax revenue, House Bill 2136. And so they're talking about giving some of those revenue back to the city. Of course, those who have bans get none. So, FYI. Which is really not that big of an amount, in my opinion, to worry about it. That's just my personal. Anyway, so that's it with SBA. Like I said, I have some notes. If anybody has any further questions, I'd be happy to share my notes from that meeting. Okay, with that, we'll move on to South County Area Transportation Board.
Very briefly, met last Thursday. There were a couple of presentations, one from King County Metro regarding the southeast transit area and service area. I think the mayor referred to that in her last report for the Sound Cities Association. Additionally, a report from Puget Sound Regional Council, and I think it confirms what we all know in our daily experiences driving I-5, 405, 167, and the other major corridors, that they did a presentation on the volume of traffic, and as the economy's recovering and just population infill and growth, that the delays in traffic getting around the region between 2013 and 14 has doubled by the number of hours. So if you're experiencing that in your daily commute, they confirmed it with this particular report. I will share that with council just as by way of information, and there's some additional information related to what they're thinking about to maybe mitigate this going forward.
Excellent, thank you. Regional Fire Authority.
At our last meeting, we signed an agreement with Kent Fire Department to rent one of our bays at the headquarters station. They're going to have a technician at Station 31, so we're not shuttling vehicles to Kent for repair anymore. Not everything, but the vast majority of what they can do will be done on site. We also signed an interlocal agreement with the Houston, Galveston, I'm not going to remember the other acronym, HGAC, Houston Galveston Area Council as part of their agreement to buy an aid car, so we can piggyback onto their contract, and we declared a bunch of stuff as surplus. So if anybody's in the market for a bus, it's being surplus. Clint?
City Hall. We'll bring it up at the
Public Works meeting.
Please, bring it up, guys.
Doesn't need major repair though, because we really only buy those.
Okay, any questions? All right, good. Moving on, whole business. Resolution number 2015-257, authorizing application for King County Sub-District flood reduction fund.
Good evening again. The item before you tonight is to grant authorization for the city to apply for grant funding through King County Flood Control District. And this particular grant opportunity that we identified at the staff level is for a $20,000 project to clean the upstream storm drainage system along 3rd Avenue ahead of the park property, in order to prevent some of the surcharging and flooding during high rain and river flow events. This is a different grant than we've applied for in the past, and the reason for that is the County Flood Control District has taken responsibility for the next few years to open and close the park with the HESCO as their HESCO's in place as they're going through that design effort. So this is a project that we still want to get approved if with council's pleasure. We would certainly recommend that you approve this project so we can get an opportunity to maintain and help improve the stormwater infrastructure. So if there are any questions, here to answer them.
From council? Council's pleasure.
Move to approve resolution 2015-257.
Second.
Councilmember Putnam, execute motion.
Needs doing, we might get money to do it, let's do it.
Councilmember Jones.
No additional.
Comments from the audience? No? Further comments from council? Roll call of council, please.
Councilmember Garberding?
Aye.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Cave?
Aye.
Councilmember Olivera?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger?
Aye.
Councilmember Walker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is resolution 2015-255, authorizing the execution of an agreement regarding Union Pacific Railroad and Stewart Rd. Union Pacific Railroad.
Great, thank you again, Council and Mayor. This item before you tonight is to continue the effort on the Stewart Road corridor. This particular component is intertwined with the last segment between Valentine and the bridge. So in this instance, this is one of those precursor projects of several projects that need to occur in order to get up to complete that final phase of the project. In this instance, the resolution or action tonight that we're asking for your consideration of approval is to allow Union Pacific Railroad, not allow, that's probably not the right word, because Union Pacific Railroad has responsibility and ownership of their operating area, and so they really get to set the terms of how we work with them in that particular corridor. So this is an opportunity to be able to get the signals designed and the crossing designed, which Union Pacific Railroad does require that their engineers do, and this is funding that would allow us to ensure that the railroad components would integrate with the roadway components that will come at a later date. And we have a 10% design that will be presented to the Union Pacific folks, and they will take that and develop some cost estimates, as well as give us some engineering depictions, drawings that we can incorporate into the next design effort. And that will be a piece that hasn't come before council yet, but will be coming as we, if we get funding and grant opportunities. But this sets us up to be able to show our commitment within our community to be able to complete that last leg of the corridor project. There are a lot of details, and I recognize I was brief. So if there are questions, I'm certainly here to answer any questions you have.
Questions for council? Councilmember Putnam.
Standards do occasionally change. How long would this design be good for? Roughly, do we expect? Well, we got something ready for when the next phase of funding comes along. What if funding doesn't come along for 5 years, 10 years? How long are these designs usually good for?
I don't know if there's a real expiration date that I can point to, but I am aware that the design like this should be good. I would give it a 10-year shelf life, unless there's regulatory drivers that would change a component that are beyond our control, or were mandated from the Railroad Transportation Administration. But beyond that, we would anticipate that the same type of corridor width that we're looking at, those components, that's not going to change. So I think the concept, it's not a completed design anyway, but it will allow us to get to the 30%. So if there are changes that come in the future, we can incorporate them going from the 30% to final.
Any further questions? Council's pleasure.
Move to approve Resolution 2015-65. Second.
Okay, Councilmember Jones.
It's a necessary step, the next step for completing the Stewart Road project, finalizing with the railroad and eventually Sumner in relation to the bridge and ultimately connected to the east side. And it's money that we won't see any future development on for a little bit of time. It's something necessarily we need to put in place right now. Yeah, when you look at the road work going on to the west, and the road work that's already been done to the east, and currently being done to the east, that bridge is going to become more and more of a choke point, and you can't do the bridge unless you do the train, so it needs to be done.
Comments from the audience? Seeing none, further comments from council? Okay, roll call council, please.
Councilmember Jones.
Aye.
Councilmember Taves.
Aye.
Councilmember Olivera.
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam.
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger.
Aye.
Councilmember Walker.
Aye.
Councilmember Garbergen. Motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
So the next item on the agenda is the discussion regarding the city newsletter. also, I had received an email from Dwayne Brock and took some of his suggestions to heart as far as adding the address and phone number on our page. So if you're looking at the city newsletter where it says city government, moving that down in the darker shaded area and putting City Hall's address and phone number right on the front page, including that in there. Other suggestions that he had on the calendar event. I'm sorry.
I don't have a, other than I see it in any of the attachments.
It's on page 25 in the packet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was like, I took it right from the back. Wait, are you finding it? So I'm sorry we didn't provide copies to the audience that did come out in the packet, but I want you to be more surprised when it shows up in your mailbox, right? Anyway, so, do you understand where I'm talking about, where it says city government, and we changed that already, kind of made that change and putting in the City Hall address and telephone number there, move city government down in that space. Councilmember Garberty?
And a big chunk down here at the bottom, is there anything you can fill in there?
Yeah, the address label.
Oh, sorry.
And that was brought to my attention. That was brought to my attention as well. And one of the things that you are gonna see in that big chunk is, you'll see the city logo here with the address underneath and stuff, but it will, we had to leave so much space for the address label for the name. So that's why you saw that. Another suggestion I thought was a really good suggestion is when the calendar events where it says monthly meeting and then the month date, to bold those. And that made a lot of sense. Working on some clarity on the graph to make it a little bit more readable. Also to add in August, the car show, which was on there. Unfortunately, the text box dropped it off, which pulled it down, boom, there it was, it popped up. So thanks for that catch. And that was all the suggestions I think that I had on that one. So, council members.
I just wanted to say where it says, did you know, for non-emergencies, you can call 911 at 253-2888. Instead, you can call 911, maybe you can call with specific police department at...
Well, this is the non-emergency telephone number to call.
Right,
Oh, 911?
Yeah, you call 911 at 911, that's the actual phone.
Yeah, so...
Call them something other than, I think that's...
Oh, I see what
Call,
you're saying.
yeah, call the specific...
I see what you're saying, I'm like,
You
I
call
thought you wanted to put a
911.
different number there for the...
It's just, yeah, maybe specific.
You can actually call both, because as soon as you dial 911, the first question
Is this
you will be asked,
Say your emergency.
emergency
Yeah.
or non-emergency?
But there's a question regarding that, what we get charged from Valleycom, though. If you call 911, we are charged more by calling 911, or if you call the 253.
It doesn't matter,
It
because
doesn't,
if you call the station, we need to notify Valleycom that we are dealing with the detail, so that they're gonna generate that detail no matter what.
Oh, okay.
So we were under the impression there was a difference in the charge.
That I am not aware of, but the non-emergency list, number that is listed, that is the non-emergency phone number for Valleycom.
Okay, so if we call to report a non-emergency,
Mhm.
Valleycom gets it anyway.
Correct, no matter what.
So the
And-
non-emergency, you should call this number and take out the 911.
Yeah, I think so.
Just put emergency services instead of 911.
I think we need to check on that, because I'm sure there is a discounted rate for us using the non-emergency.
Right. So, and there is, but for non-emergency, call 253-288-2121 is what they're trying to say.
But if they generate a report or an incident number, you get charged the same as emergency or non-emergency, is my understanding.
We need to double check, but that's not the
I'm not
point
aware
that's
of
being made
different
here.
rates.
But it's
Yeah,
just
that's how
911.
So,
And the phone number.
yeah. But, I mean, people are gonna call 911, but this was, my understanding, the whole reason this number was established was to reduce the cost to the city from that.
And another thing is if people even walking into the station and they want to report something, they are being advised to dial 911 so an incident can be generated by Velicom. We cannot simply do it.
Right, and I am aware of that, so.
Yeah.
So I think what we can do for this right here, just list the phone number for non-emergency, call this number, and how it gets billed or how it really isn't the issue, right?
Not pertinent to the newsletter,
Right.
but it's pertinent to
It is, yeah, it is. And now you've got me all wondering, I'm sure that that's why that was, that I'll find out now. Okay, but I appreciate your comment. I get it, what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, what else? Councilmember Putnam.
Couple of spots, the one that jumped out the most at me is on the Milwaukee ditch article. There's funny word wrapping, second paragraph, third to the last line, vegetative is broken after the V.
Oh,
So
yeah.
only the V in the one line, and then the second line starts with vegetative.
It's the educated.
Yeah.
Got that.
So, there was another one like that somewhere, just
Okay.
proof down the right edge of all the paragraphs and look for funny
So,
definitions.
right, and I don't know about you guys, but I was thinking some of these where they split up the words, like,
Yeah.
provides or whatever, how they split that, I would just put some spaces or something so it ends up on the same line. But
Yeah,
this
you
hasn't
can-
gone to the printer to be
okay.
formatted, this is what we have
Okay,
done.
then they can specify that in that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, this is basically our draft that we want to send to the printer, and then they're gonna help us with finishing the
They'll
final
help
format.
format it. One other question.
Yes.
When you put in this blank spot, says city specific and your address and all that other, would it be a good idea to maybe, you can always refer to Channel 21?
So that's not a bad idea, so right down here at the bottom.
Yes, for updated, information, please refer to Channel 21. I watched it last night for about 20 minutes just out of pure boredom, and it was stuck on the same screen, so I don't know if it was an issue or a glitch last night, or if I just...
It stays a long time. We had talked about speeding
Yeah, it's
that
about
up,
20
but we
minutes.
have the oldest.
And it looked like it was
software
a
that they can use.
screenshot of a computer screen. It was
Oh, then
weird.
it's stuck, it's broken. Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's just the computer's running a PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's exactly, I watched it for 20 minutes before I gave up, yes, I had nothing to do.
So thank you for that information, we'll look at it.
That sounds less interesting than watching tape drive.
You don't have any tape to watch dry, okay?
I'm glad you looked at it, so now we
So,
can.
yeah, but if you put that, refer to any
Okay, well,
updated,
let us know if it's stuck.
excuse me, that was a great Please start on it.
What else?
I think that was good.
Amy did a really good job of putting this together.
Who put
And
it
staff
together?
did an awesome job
It's been well.
of submitting all the information. Did really, really good. I feel pretty proud to put this out.
Leanne, I will try and work on that graph chart, the letters, they can be bigger.
So, and that's what Amy and I were looking at to see if there was a way we could make the letters bigger and take up more of that space or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'll try and
so
do
that
that
it's
tomorrow.
easier to read. And then one other comment that was brought to me is clip art. Are we using clip art? Do we own some of the stuff that we're putting in here? Like, I know there's pictures that we're putting in here that is ours. But like, do we own this? Do we own that?
The clip art,
Do we own this?
when I did a search for clip art, when you go through Microsoft, it pulls up clip art that has
Common usage.
common uses, which means you can utilize it
It's
from
not
the internet.
copyrighted.
Correct.
Okay, so I just want to make sure
It's
that.
copyrighted, but it's licensed for public use.
For public use.
Just want to make sure that, I appreciate that.
The police department's annual house, open house is on September 18th, at what time? The open house in September?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll know when it gets posted.
Okay.
And it usually starts at 5 or something?
No, traditionally,
4:30?
earlier in the afternoon.
Because I was wondering, because last time we had, everybody getting out of the parking lot.
Yeah, but,
Right,
It's like around 4:30 or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
early to late afternoon.
Will we have another-
Like, yeah,
Hopefully by September we'll have one, but it'll be
either 3 or
advertised.
4, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably right around there. I just
Around
remember
4.
that, staff getting out of the parking lot.
Okay, you can just on the third.
So, further comments? Yes? Councilmember Garber.
On the did you know, on the second bullet down, I don't know, is it a great idea to separate phone numbers like that? Or will that be something that would be
Well, when we
addressed
take
later?
out call 911, it won't separate that.
Okay, and the other thing is, any and all phone numbers that are in here, it might be a good idea to bold them so that they kind of stand out.
Thoughts?
Something like.
Yeah, something to make it stand out. Bold is a great way to do it.
Bold phone numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and what else?
And dates.
Well-
Like, it was suggested for the dates as well. Like under the calendar of events and whatnot.
So, we did the June, July, August, I said that. And but you mean like the 10th, 11th,
Yeah.
both those as well?
So they stand out for easily to be found. I think it's a great idea for the phone numbers, because somebody have to read through the whole thing just to find a number. And it just might be easier.
So my question is, the dates in the article or the dates in the calendar?
The dates in the calendar.
Other comments
But
from
all
council
phone
regarding
numbers.
that?
Very nice. Did you see it, Clint?
No?
Okay, I didn't mention.
Is this what you-
I don't know where you're going. I think it's.
Further comments? Really?
I'm just
You guys tired for the weekend? Is that what's going on here?
What is it you're looking for us to find?
I just want to make sure, because
Is there something evil in here that we didn't
there
see
is
yet?
nothing evil, I would hope. I just want to make sure that I have plenty of comments and feedback from council before this goes to printer and not hear about it when it gets out in the mailbox.
The only thing that'd be kind of nice, but it's a little bit, unfortunately, it's premature here, because we don't have all the contracts signed and everything. But article on our new garbage,
Yeah,
recycle and everything.
that would be nice. And the next one, hopefully we're trying to have it come out, so it'll be around September. So that'd be nice.
That gives a chance for everything to get all the bugs worked out of
And
everything.
so maybe put a nice article on the news service and where we're at, what it looks like, how it benefits the city. I think that'd be really good. Anything else?